Welcome to the Rip Comics Podcast. Today we have Roland Perez from Dog Comics. And I'll pause because there was supposed to be something there. And as always, I'm Robert Perez Jr. So we got a lot to get. There's a lot going on right now, but there was a lot going on before. But now it's just a lot's going on right now. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to go ahead and do hot picks. The hot picks, and I know, Roland's going to roll his eyes, and he's going to, because I've been talking about it probably a little bit too much or hyping it up too much. And, well, it finally happened. Spawn 309 finally hit the stores, and sure enough, that is my pick for hot pick of the week. If you were lucky to get a hold of it, I think that.
Now, what's the importance of 309? Why was that a hot comic? Why did comic book store owners decide to screw over their customers? That's like, honestly, that's price gouging.
But whenever it's come to comics, I've always thought of it like a bookstore or a newsstand, because I've never seen the newsstand all of a sudden charging $5 or $6 for the Selena newspaper that, Selena got shot. Oh my God. Yeah, you that becomes the other secondary market, not the first thing. But I guess because the Wild West of comic books, that has reared its head, I guess, and that has become a question. So you ask, do I? Well, you know what? I think it's fair, right? If it's a considered, I don't even know if it's considered a spoiler. I don't know at this point what I'm going to show, because I read the book and I found
You read your books?
Yes. Okay. So do you want to see what ends up happening? I'm only going to show one page, but it could be an explosive.
Okay, but now let's revisit whenever we got the Batman cards for the 1989 movie. And you made sure that we did not look at any card. And the one where it said Joker's last laugh, we were like, oh, let's just see what it is. And there it is, Joker on the ground. And we're like,
yeah, I remember that one. But see, that has been in the tradition of me getting the Scholastic Return of the Jedi. And guess what? Everything was in that book. Hey, I'm your sister, brother, and you're gonna die, Darth Vader, and every spoiler was there before the movie came out. So he shoots the head of the gunslinger, shoots the head of this. You know what? I can go back one.
Wait a second. Is that Knull? Is that the crossover? Is he the king of the symbiotes?
I don't know. I was hoping somebody else would be here to venture a thing. So okay, so this is what happens. Gunslinger doesn't even wait for the dude to talk in perfect Han Solo action, and he goes, "You're right. I did set you up." Pow! Knocks the dude right in the head. Okay, that's Cog. Cog actually set it up right here. Yeah, he's shocked at the same thing of what's happening. And so then we get the guy in perfect form starts to form. It starts oozing from his forehead. The stuff. We'll just call it the stuff for now. And then you remember you were saying, Rob, what is that in the corner of that symbiote spawn picture? Where it was Spider-Man in the black symbiote suit, and then you said, hey, look, there's Kang, and then there's the Black Knight. Doesn't this thing in the bottom corner look a lot like whatever that was in that bottom corner?
Is that the full page? I'm only seeing like...
Oh, no, I got it right here. See? That's the bottom panel right there. So then this thing appears, and the gunslinger is facing face-to-face with this guy here. But see, look at his arms and all that stuff. Do you remember you told me, what the hell is that thing in the bottom of that Spider-Man King in Black?
That's kind of like Carnage.
Yeah. Okay, so then we kill that page, and then we go to this other page, and then here we go. And then the thing, whatever we want to call this, but it does reveal right here in this little passage is Gunslinger sizes up his opponent. It appears to be some hybrid creature, part demon, part symbiote.
Oh, well,
And look at the arm and everything, and then the battle ensues. And we'll let everybody. He's in a weakened state. So what's going on here? Are we setting up for possible? I haven't heard anybody talk about this. You know why? Because nobody's reading the books. Are,
They're
are
only
we?
buying for investment.
Is this book all of a sudden more of a hot commodity in the world of
Crossovers?
yeah, of crossovers? Because they're funny that it is, because Donny Cates is actually releasing a series around the same time for Image called Crossover.
Well,
Yeah, where there's a
interesting.
very interesting. So anyway, I don't know. To me, everybody went crazy on the page. It was book 2 of Thor, of this new series that just came out. And I don't know. Did I tell you about that? Basically, it's a whole universe that gets destroyed by the Black Winter. And in that sense, what ends up happening is it says all the heroes come rushing to that point. And what it is, it's where Black Winter was. And you see in the top corner, you see a blue and red streak going across the sky. Then you see a slithery red and yellow lightning thing going across the ground. And then you see these other things racing to the Black Winter. And then it says the destruction of a universe happens. And then Black Winter is approaching Galactus and Thor. So basically they hint that the DC universe was destroyed by the Black Winter. So I don't know. You know what I mean? And that book started going up out of control just because of that. The hinting of a DC universe. They didn't say any characters. They didn't say the DC universe, but they basically made all the hints and the images and the pictures that the DC universe got blasted in Thor #2. So, we go into extra hot comics. So basically right now what's happening is anything that is in second, third, fourth, I think they're up to the fourth or fifth printing of Thor. Thor #2. It's #2. 3, it's like all the books, like from 1 through 5, have all these reprints being made. I mean, they're up to like 5th printing, 4th printing, 3rd printing, all the way down the line, and everybody's buying the crap out of
Now,
these books.
do you think if they would have done that in the 90s that we wouldn't have had the break
Well,
in
see,
the oversaturation? Because
you remember who ushered this in, the new guard of Marvel? It was I think it was Joe Quesada. He's the one, along with some others, said, "Hey, we need to limit the print counts, and we need to reflect the." And they were looking at it from the aftermarket and in the front thing. They didn't want to cause all these million. Don't get me wrong. I mean, their job is to sell books, but if they sell one book that sells 1 million and it breaks an industry, you know what I mean?
now, I mean, okay,
That's
so
what's happening.
another question is then you have what makes a hot character? I mean, you have an issue that like the second day it's out, they're already announcing the second printing, and it's like, well, again, if you're just going off the numbers that are being ordered, I mean, how many times have comics been sent back because they can't sell? So I'm just wondering, like, what is it? Just is it almost like their own price gouging of only printing less than what is actually being requested, or
They're forcing they're making it a hot commodity. Well, see, I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know if they automatically put in place, well, guys, Venom #25. Let's just, or no, that's a milestone issue. Um, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know if all of a sudden they say, all right, dealers, because we don't know this. This is between the dealers and what I mean by dealers is the retailers that order from the distribution company, which is Diamond, and then you have Marvel that is working in conjunction by, they make the comic, it gets distributed, and then something is decided as far as because realistically they could print a crap load of them if they wanted to,
We
and
saw
they
them
could say
now.
that, right? But at the Marvel level, I don't know if they automatically put in like, okay, we're expecting this to be a hot book, but because of our structure, that hot book will not be more than X amount of issues, or because it's not a milestone issue. Because you got to remember, a lot of these books, let's just say it's like a number one. Okay, Eternals, the Eternals that are about to be released. There are 22 covers that are available to the public, and that's not including the variants. When the final total was said and done, I think there was upwards to 40 covers that are going to be available for that number one issue. Who's going to buy all that? Somebody will. But I mean, we're
Somebody
talking
will.
yeah.
Man,
Well, the thing is, like, one issue is already being okay. Here's another example. Spider-Man is about to hit another. Amazing Spider-Man is already at, because they put 2 issues out a month, so we're already going to be at issue 850. Last year we were doing the whole 800. Spider-Man hit the 800 mark. Well, we're at now at 850. So what's happening right now with Spider-Man? They have, like, I want to say like nine or 10 covers that are available to the general public, meaning that I can right now pre-order something of that, and I will get one of these covers. But the 1 in 25, the 1 in 100, the 1 in 50, the secret artist variant, the homage cover that where they actually pull a piece of Spider-Man artwork from one of the old guys and then they reprint it, so it's like one panel, and then you see, oh look, it's actually panel JF from issue 26, and it's recreated into a big thing, and that's worth $2,000. Or, you know what, let's do a McFarlane retro thing, and then we're going to put that as a
Torment.
cover, and then that's going to be, $2,000 book, and that's what ends up happening. You have all these series of special books that have yet to be announced. I know Joe Quesada has a book. His book will probably be upwards to $1,000 because he's
Ash?
he's the head
The coming back of Ash.
he's the head honcho right now. So whenever he puts his there you go, guys.
What is he the head honcho of right now?
I don't know. Isn't he like one of the head Marvel dudes right now?
I thought he stepped down.
Well, he's his podcast. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure he's a consultant of some kind. If he had stepped down or whatever the case may be, but he's still a name that people respect. You know what I mean? Oh well.
Okay.
But so basically, that's what's happening in the world of these quote unquote hot comics. But what's happening is that instead of the long game when you're playing golf, the long game, you plan for the future of how you're going to achieve your goal. You make your investment, you sit on the comic, you wait, and then guess what? 10 years later, 20 years later, you can send your kids to college because you now have a very expensive comic book, the dream world.
Yeah, they thought that of Magnus with the.
But what's happening though is it in a year to 2 year span, what's happening is what used to take several years for this incremental increases in these comics, it's become astronomical, where you actually can go buy a comic, and that's the problem we're saying, that instantaneously before the book even hits the market, it's already up by 10%, by 10 times, it's worth 10 times the amount that it was worth, being bought. I mean, it was like a $3
But,
now it's like $30 or something like that. And then in some cases, in the next year or two, the book goes up to several hundreds of dollars, like in the case of some of these Venom books and Thor books that are happening right now.
Or you can just handle them like I do, and they're not worth anything. I mean, I was
Yeah.
manhandling a comic last one. Didn't you say it was like going for like $40?
Yeah, about $40. Yeah. So basically, like I was saying, my hot pick for this past week, there were some cool issues that came out. The Batman, the three Jokers, very reminiscent of
And but
the.
that was 15 covers for that, or no? I'm
It,
not kidding.
no. Okay, the first
Somebody
number,
posted. I saw somebody posted that they got all of them.
yeah, number
Uh,
one, the number one issue had one Batman, and then it had like four Jokers, and then it had like two premium covers. So yeah, and each book was like $7 a pop. Yeah, and then but that's not including the premiums. One premium was going for up to 100 to 150, and then the other one was going between $30 to $40 as far as premium. As far as premium, so just on those two books alone, you're already spending like about $200 just on that, and then you had your regular issues. So and then there's I think three sets, a la three Jokers for that. So yeah. But yeah, so if you're into Batman, which seems to
or
be,
investment. I mean, it really.
well, if you want to be a millionaire like Bruce Wayne,
Yeah, that's how Thomas actually made his millions.
yeah, his comic book empire.
Because you have Bruce Wayne, who, I mean, honestly, you see a lot of people getting upset with people who are trust fund babies who didn't earn their money themselves, and Bruce Wayne's the epitome of that.
You figure it would be the dream.
To not have to do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, just be going around and just throwing money all over the place, and hey
Man,
man,
people are shooting at me. I need to get a ward. I need to get something that they can shoot at.
that could
Hey,
protect me.
let me order a child from Wayfair.
Alrighty then, we just went down that path.
Speaking of variants,
Oh yeah,
I'm
look.
working on
Wow,
my Z&G.
cool. And that's the variant word version.
The my Z and I do something called a Z&G vision, which all it is just it's almost like fan art of stuff I like, but with my characters in it. So I've done Chips, I've done Pokemon, Popeye, Kingdom Hearts, and this one since we've been talking, the big thing is the variant.
Oh yeah,
The variant. So I call this one my Z&G variant, which it's reminiscent. I took it from Savage Dragon #1,
yeah,
not the miniseries #1, but
yeah. The ongoing series.
yes.
Very cool. Since we're doing pivots and stuff like that, I was thinking of, we're gonna let's just get right into the Batman, because I think
Batman.
the Batman. Oh, speaking of how important that word is, Marvel decided to drop the in the Eternals, or the Eternals, and so it's just called Eternals now. It's just and so
Well,
so then they were making some jokes. The Suicide Squad, James Gunn was like, "Oh, they did that just for me, so I could make the Suicide Squad." And anyway, I don't know. To me, it's just a bunch of
they're gonna change it to just Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah. It should be the Marvel. We're reading the Marvel comics. But so last week we kind of scoffed a little bit at it. I don't think either that, or it was just not interest, or I don't know. But the DC fandom happened last week, and
I dug a lot of their stuff.
they actually had some really good stuff. They had the new Wonder Woman. They had the peek at the Suicide Squad. They had looks at video games. Some of it
I
trickled
really
out.
like the video game of Suicide Squad.
Right. Oh.
Killed Justice League.
Oh yeah. That
That seems more. And I saw
it would have
some.
been an awesome movie.
Well, see, that's the thing. I see that some people are saying that it's funny how like the way their characters were and like something else they said wasn't canon, but then they're writing this video game like it is, like
Yeah.
the way their humor is and their
Yeah, and of course there was the Suicide Squad, James Gunn. Is that what we're talking about too, or are you getting?
I see. You know what? And out of everything, that's the one thing I didn't see was the teaser
Okay,
trailer for the movie.
yeah, but no, I think it's cool. I like that what Bloodsport was on that rundown of because what it was just a bunch of like masks or their names were like printed across their face or something like that, and it said Bloodsport, and I thought, oh, that was a pretty cool. Well, a cool what Superman villain.
Yep.
But of course we haven't even mentioned the Batman.
The Batman.
The
That
Batman was prior to this. There was this Twilight Batman. They didn't like the first image. You know, his horns
yeah.
weren't horny enough, and I don't know. There was and then these leaked photos from the set. You know, he's on a bike. He's this,
Well,
that, and the other.
and then I saw some people cry about the way the bat looks. And so
Really?
it's funny because they the branding, the way it looks.
Oh yeah. On his chest.
And there are people complaining about it. And I posted a picture from the original Batman, and it looks like reversed because in the original Batman emblem there was like no top part; it was just the bottom.
Right. Yeah. Just the
So
bottom.
this almost looks like it's reversed to where it's mainly the top. And see, this is why I'm glad I wore this shirt for today.
The many Batmans.
The many Batmans, but I mean, just like look at a lot of the. I mean, this one is it's on his belt.
Waist. Yeah. Or yeah. Look at my nose. Hey, they got a
So-
rainbow. They got a rainbow one before the rainbow collision got involved. Anyway,
No, this is
I know.
yeah, that's a real one, man.
I know. I know. They're before their time. Anyway, so all right. So okay, the trailer's out. Robert Patty Cake is all over the place, and he didn't hold back. They are truly letting people see that this Batman is all in, and he didn't come to mess around. And I think yeah, there's even memes that are popping up like oh stop, he's going, he's not stopping, and so they're going pretty crazy right now with all that. So
And I even mentioned that to you. It's like you're used to the 2-3 punch and he's down, and he just kept going.
hey,
And I think that
or the Michael Keaton, huh, he didn't even have to throw punches, or he'll just throw one kick. It was like, you know what that's like. That's like when you saw Ben and Darth Vader fighting for the very first time, and they're like, and then all of a sudden you see them in these other movies, they're like, flying around and shooting up in the thing, and
this guy cut your legs off, and you're just gonna be like,
yeah, we're just gonna
kick around at his clothes. Okay.
I've grown smarter, Vader. You've gone senile.
I just don't understand why he acknowledged the calling him Vader.
Yeah, he should have been calling him Anakin, right? He should have
Yeah.
been just calling him my Padawan, or
because
giving him
that's the thing.
jabs like that. Oh, because
When
Yoda
did he-
did it.
When did he ever call him Vader? And before. That's
Right,
like
prior.
the first time.
Yeah,
It's like,
well,
oh,
see,
you're-
yeah,
you're-
that's yeah, V.
Why didn't they know that, 40 years later that they were going to do this?
Or he could have used the magic of re-editing, and he did it to
Yeah.
everything else. Why didn't he do it there? You know, change these. I've told him
But, I mean,
everything, Anakin.
well, you know, it's funny. I keep seeing um, there's a meme that has Rey holding the dagger, and she's like, "Many bad things have been done with this." And then they show another clip where she's holding Anakin's thing, and he's like, they're like, she's literally holding the
Yeah.
Jedi Slayer 9000.
And she's
all
not
the
having,
all the kid all the
yeah,
kids that he killed with that thing.
yeah, and there's nothing going on with that one. Yeah, I guess she forgave him for that. Maybe it wasn't truly him. He actually hid that one and used a different one. Remember, he was always losing those things. You find him in
I
the
guess.
pawn shop. Yeah, we found this one. Just hit me on the head. Just, here you go. You want to buy that?
And for the fact that they would give Luke this there's not that many Jedi left. And here, this is the reason why. Let me give you that lightsaber because he killed many of our friends
Yeah.
with this lightsaber.
Yeah, we trust you completely. We
never made a mistake before.
Yeah, we have full faith that you're not going to go ape shit like your dad. And here's this for good measure. Yeah.
Meanwhile, your uncle has a feeling that you're going to be a jerk like your dad.
Yeah, ignore him because he's not part of it. He's not in the Jedi Order. So, yeah.
It's like I'm thinking that maybe
this is that other
maybe they thought that
podcast. This is that other podcast you wanted to do. Where
I'm
we're
just saying,
analyzing the whole story from a different point of view.
And maybe that's why they thought that he reminded him so much of Anakin because he was a little bitch. I wanted to go to Tashi Station. Oh my gosh. He just can't get over it. Just like his dad couldn't get over his mom's death. Oh, look at me. The only thing
Don't you remember Lars had no legs? You didn't see him crying. He didn't get a whole body put built into him with a new lung capacitor and everything. And you're bitching.
Iron lung. I mean, with stuff so advanced, they still couldn't get the iron lung sound out.
Yeah, that's just one thing.
They give you a whole body, but I got it at Best Products, and
it's a reminder. Yeah, we couldn't fix that from the old what's his face? What was that chingazo that with the multi arms thing? With that Grievous. There it is. Him breathing with a broken lung and everything. It's like they built Death Stars with a self-destruct mechanism. They built their Jedis with self-destruct tuberculosis or something.
We just couldn't. We can do everything. We gave you a whole new body, but
we've never been able to build lungs. Thing. Yeah, we can't build lungs. That's about it. Sorry.
That was what the story was in Darth Plagueis. He just couldn't figure out this whole breathing thing.
Yeah, it was perfect until he came down. It's like, you know what? It was like what's his name? The Scissorhands. He just couldn't make hands, man. It just
I know, right?
It was a tragedy. So you're cursed with Scissorhands. So anyway, that's good Batman talk so far.
Yeah, so far.
Anyway, so the trailer's badass. It basically calmed a lot of people down, and people that were already on board gave them the firepower to attack all these people. Yeah, well, there you go, the Penguin. Anyway, we do get glimpses of villain or villains. Should we just stick with villain since really we did see one, or because I heard that there's the hints of some other people.
Well, no, they show Penguin, and then there's the Riddler. I mean, they wouldn't do the question mark.
Well,
2021, you know.
Yeah, trying to throw us off there.
And then Miss Kitka is in it.
Yeah,
His
it's
old
almost,
arch nemesis.
they went deep into the history of like what's one movie that because I joked about this that they should have just go back to the original and just throw all the villains in there. We don't need origin stories. Let's just bam, you're Batman. Or do you think we will see how he became Batman again in this? That's been my
I
that's
really
been
hope not.
my Achilles heel about a lot of these films.
That
That
was the only thing that I didn't mind about, like,
Martha.
yeah. Well, see, but they didn't really show it, did they? With Ben, they talked about it, but I mean, like Spider-Man. Finally, Ben didn't have to die again. You
Right.
just heard it
Yeah.
like everything that Aunt May's been through, and
Right.
his friend could have been like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean, Peter?" Well, Ned,
Yeah.
let me.
Yeah. So, do you think we'll see it play out again?
I really
We
hope
are
not.
here
I mean,
too. We should be removed from that already. We should just jump right into
by Val
Batman.
Kilmer, we should have been.
Even in the other Batman, they kept referring to the death of his folks.
Hi, Thomas Wayne was the key to this whole city. I just like out of
Yeah.
nowhere they made him from I'm just a good doctor and I help people to I am Wayne and I'm the center of the city, just like Thomas Wayne. Yeah,
Yeah.
he would.
Did they show Alfred? I really need to see this trailer again. Did they show Alfred in this thing at all? Or do we get hint that he even had an Alfred? Does he get Alfred later on in a deal? They trade him away to bring him in.
He wins in a card game against Harvey Dent. He's oh, I want your butler.
I want your butler.
Oh, heads.
That was mine. That was my pick. You knew something. You tricked me, Wayne. I mean, Batman.
Oh, Wayne, you've done it again.
But no, very impressive. Looks good. Let's hope that they have a good production because I know that this movie is somewhat.
So
I don't know if they're. I don't know if they're
here's
still
the thing.
filming things. Are they still filming? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just know that it says in production, and when I hear in production, that means the film is still not yet in the can. They stopped because of the pandemic, and I guess they need to go back and film some more of the film, and then we can go into regular post production. But based on the trailer, it looks like they've already started fixing or doing a lot of that.
Based on the old Wizards and comics scene, when it says in production, that means you're going to see a bootleg of it 20 years later. But no, okay, so the question is that, okay, so we have year 2. I mean, he's already Batman, but he hasn't established himself as the playboy, the millionaire playboy, because he's kind of angsty enough to where he's...
Yeah, it's kind of that creepy guy that hangs out at the bar. No,
See, this is like, well, if Crispin Glover was still someone, we would have picked him.
I'm Batman. No, he would be perfect for a Gotham. Wait a minute, didn't he come out in Gotham?
Riddler.
Did
I
he
don't
come
know.
out?
Oh, maybe.
I
See,
think
he would have been.
Yeah, I think he came out in Gotham for some reason. I think there was the special walk-on cameo.
Hey, you.
Get your damn bat claws off him.
Him.
Her.
You are my density. I mean, my destiny. Are you kidding? Where is my internet?
Do you think it's? I should swear. God damn it, swear.
Hey, are you going to be putting your hands on her? No, George. Oh, that's another podcast of.
Yes, that goes into we're going to put that in the mix with Star Wars Back to the Future.
Time traveler bastard that Doc Brown was.
Yeah, we'll find another one to throw in the mix there of Questionable activity. Oh, and
actually, they
Leon. We'll
had that
put
deleted.
Leon the professional. We'll throw
They
that one
have
in there.
they have they do have the deleted scene where Knull came out in Back to the Future 2. They went too far back and Knull was there. So I think they're trying to do a crossover there too.
Um,
Hey,
so
did you already give your condolences? Did we already talk about that? Did I
I
already
was gonna
miss?
I was gonna wait after, but
Okay. No, that's fine.
I just figure we get all this Batman laughs and stuff because it might be,
When have we not joked about just everything?
Oh, here we go. We're gonna do it. No, let's just stick with this. Let's
Okay.
we'll get to that. So trailer's good. Everything's positive. Everything's looking awesome.
Now we didn't get a full. I know we've seen cars, the Batmobile
Right,
in a picture,
right.
but we didn't really get an act like a good view of. And I mean, just like a James Bond car, it changes every movie. He can't keep because he has all that income that he can just you
Yeah.
know let go. That he just always gets a new and
He's not
you
as
know
frugal as Adam West Batman, who had to have that same car. There were no modifications done to his car. Just maybe bat sprays and lotions.
I'm just glad that he spent the time to make the signs.
There
Like
you
was
go.
that
That
Alfred or
that
Harry?
that is Alfred's job. Alfred.
Or is it we talked about the other person that lived in the house that they still kept a secret of them being Batman, just like, oh, where did they go? Oh, don't worry, Aunt Harriet.
Oh, there's a interesting young man, or that has come. And it's the Joker, ooh, hoo, hoo, and he's all visiting with Aunt Harriet or some crazy shit or whatever.
Oh, look, I mean, and it reminds me of the whole Doctor Octopus Aunt May relationship.
I need to get that. I need to get that
Because there
series.
was that comic where she's like, oh, there's this man here talking to me, and it's freaking
Commodore Smith.
You would sell a nuclear submarine to someone with no return address? I mean, damn.
Damn,
Now, did I do something wrong? And
I didn't.
The Navy has to ask him, Batman, did I do something wrong?
I didn't know. I didn't know Batman was that conservative.
I mean, ooh.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Hence the ward. Hence the ward.
Oh, snap. So,
Everybody has a
no,
ward
okay.
with an AR-15. Anyway,
I don't know where we came up with Aunt Harriet. She's
what's her name? Aunt B.
just freaking
That's
like
Anderson.
she's. Oh no, it is Aunt Harriet. She
Yeah,
played
it was
Mrs.
Harriet.
Cooper and Aunt Harriet.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So like, oh, she's Aunt Harriet at home, Mrs. Cooper if you're nasty.
Cooper.
Oh, see, she's Aunt Harriet Cooper. That's
So
but
that
they
was,
call her Mrs. Cooper.
and they were
Who the
hanging
hell
with.
was she?
They were hanging with. Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm beginning to wonder what side of the family she was from. They adopted her too. They won her in a card match.
Man, she died in 1969.
Dang, man! No wonder that show died. She died. Man.
It was the catalyst like Hannah Rocks. She was.
Yeah, she was the driving force. They could not continue without Aunt Harriet Cooper, and they didn't even
what
acknowledge.
Are we gonna do?
They didn't acknowledge her.
We need a female in there. We'll bring Batgirl.
Batgirl, 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 Batgirl. Yeah, well, it
She
opened
wore a
up some
wig.
salary cap, so they brought. Oh no! So we're moving into, it looks like, the actors of Batman. Everybody that has played Batman has had a certain. They're Bruce Wayne and they're Batman. Batman, of course, they get identified a lot by the costuming and all that kind of stuff. Some of them bring in a different voice, or a certain kind of other than the voice and maybe suits. Do you feel that a in the suit that is, has there been a Batman? Well, it's still, we don't know too much about the new one, the Batman. But what we've seen in the past, has there been somebody that has been able to rise above the suit and even give a performance even that is a level above the suit, so to speak? You know what I mean? Their acting goes one step farther, even with the suit on. Because to me, they seem contained for the most part.
Well, wow, that's you're asking to polish a turd on this one. I mean,
Well, to
they
me,
didn't really give a
Like
ballot.
Clooney was Clooney no matter what. He didn't really. He was saying the same thing, the cadence and everything, blah, 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 blah. And then he would do the same thing. It was like there was no difference between Bruce Wayne Clooney, Batman Clooney, and him. You know what I mean? It
Well,
was,
and
it was like from dusk till dawn Clooney. That's it.
but again, at this point, it goes back to the writing. Um, when they wrote it, did they actually give it a separation between Batman and Bruce Wayne? Christian Bale's Batman, they somewhat tried to separate that, and so he'd be like Harvey, and so that was a different that was the different part. Batman, the Batfleck, that he was mainly Batman, and
Yeah, yeah.
and Bruce Wayne, he was Batman in disguise. So that was more of because by this time he's already like I'm a playboy or whatever. I think that one is a little bit more.
It was to me. You know what? We're talking about Batfleck, right? Batfleck.
Yes.
You know what I felt that was? He's already had that life, and
Yeah.
he's full blown. I'm Batman, almost, 20 hours of the day,
Yeah.
and that's why when he comes across Diana, this would have been like, oh, you understand me now. I found
Mm-hmm.
somebody that is in that same, even though you're like about 1,000 years old compared to me,
Yeah.
it, that was somebody that he connected to in a different way. Um,
And that and okay, so that's funny because I have to say, like in the Justice League cartoons, it was Batman and Diana who had that relationship. They had that romantic, like,
that there was something possibly between them.
well, and again, it's a kids cartoon. They're like, well, we have Superman supposed to be with Lois. Let's not try to confuse.
Let's not
Uh,
try to confuse them.
again, we're going back to Star Wars.
Yeah, it's very. It gets real weird because when you start mixing in the ambiguity of the duos, which is why SNL definitely played up on that. But as adults, they view it a little bit different, and then kids automatically put those parental units or couples, and then they arrange them in that way. So when you don't have that counter person or somebody in that same age group, the question starts to come up. Okay, so Robin was eternally always this young kid. He was never going to grow old. Then you had, what I mean? They kind
And
of would
then
like pair,
they
because
had to
remember
knock
they had
kids down a peg and go, no, we can kill you.
yeah, well, and then they had, what is it, the hawk people? It was a hawk man and a hawk woman. It's like for every, there was always an opposite of sorts that happened. And then, you get the TV show, and Batman is in love with cat women, villains. So
Now, okay, so what do you think about we're just keeping with Batman? How it's like they've made Catwoman that, well, she's a good person at heart type of crap. And I call it crap because I mean it's like, she had no problem as Miss Kitka jacking the fool. She didn't care that it was, she didn't like fall in love with Bruce Wayne. She was all about the money. She was all about they had a plan to take over the world. The
Yeah,
world.
yeah. There was, well, he was naive, obviously, to the whole stupid thing.
Which again, don't understand that.
Yeah, the Adam West one was like he was eternally not gonna have any female companionship because I'm assuming he was just so naive to that. Because I
Well,
mean, he didn't, and even then, I mean, it was he was always attracted to. It seemed like the bad person, and that was forbidden fruit in the TV world. He was always They always were going to play around with that because I mean, even when Batgirl was there, that word "girl" was in there, so he was never going to view her uh, as I don't know. I didn't understand why they didn't view it like that.
well, I mean, because you have every Batman movie. I mean, it was like I told you, it's like a Seinfeld episode. You know, you had a different person. I mean, I think they didn't they'll like kind of write them off like off screen, like, oh well, Vicky Vale ended up going off to be with the
Well,
Sparrows, and I don't know.
well,
They
if I'm not mistaken, out of all the Batmans that we have seen on the screen, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, we've actually seen them actually either wake up in bedroom scenarios. I mean, I'm assuming we saw this in Christian Bale, or did we never saw a situation play out like that? It was just
well,
a
no,
scene.
because he's just able to peck her on the cheek. He man, that just like went south. I mean, it it messed her up so bad she looked different on the second one. I mean, no, and yeah, no. See, that's the thing is that, well, no, the only person that Christian Bale ended up being with ended up trying to kill him, which was the Talia.
Yeah, but okay, like actual scenes being played out. We actually saw them either in a bedroom situation or waking up in a situation or going to bed or something like that. I guess
Well,
that's what
yeah,
I'm trying to say.
because
In the movies, we have actually seen, you know, Bruce Wayne and Kim.
Vicky Vale. It
Yeah,
was because he woke
yeah,
up
and then
and
he's
saw
all
him hanging
hanging
upside
upside
down.
down. Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
okay.
I thought she would be. Never mind. Bad babies, bad babies, bad babies, bad babies. Anyway,
I
that's
just,
why we're bat condominiums.
yeah.
Um. So, your favorite of the Bruce Wayne characters that you've seen through the years, and of course, we will push aside the Batman in this case. We'll give it a push. But what? Oh, Richard sending photos. Must be I must refer to the Bat computer. Yeah, he sent the picture of them all tangled up when they're all tied up, and it's Batman and Batman, Robin, and then you got Batgirl's leg over Batman's thing, and they're all tied
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yeah, the holy pretzels.
Well, and again, they in certain comics they would they would have Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson, and by that time he was Nightwing.
Yeah,
So they would have them together. You know, not have a Anakin Padme. Oh, you're 8 years.
the ancestral seasonings.
What? The Bat family.
The Bat family, unlike the Shazam family. Um, the Adam West Bat
Well,
millionaire.
we grew up with Adam West. So I mean, unfortunately, there's right there. There's going to be somewhat a bias to anything with that. I mean, because you remember that's, it's funny to say now, but people weren't even comparing the 1989 Batman, with the comic. They were comparing the 1989 Batman with
The show.
Adam West.
Right.
And then people were like, "Oh, well, Adam West should be Batman still," and it's like,
Oh, he even felt he should have been Batman still. He kind of like
mean-
some Michael Keaton.
well, okay. See, here's the thing, though. In that case, it should have been what, they should have done. They could have done Adam West right by making him Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, putting him somewhere in the film, and that to me is awful that they didn't even attempt. Look how many movies we had, and they didn't even attempt to do that.
I mean, you have Tim Burton giving Pee Wee Herman a shot in a movie after he, that was like his first movie. After his
Escapades, yeah,
and yet they never gave him a nod for how corny Batman was. There was never a picture, even a picture. I mean, even the Incredible Hulk, they couldn't do it because Bill Bixby was dead, but
right.
They had Courtship of Eddie's father. Some type of nod to, the Batman we all grew up on. Whether it was some people got to see it, new. We saw it on, effect, whatever show. What did they used to show it on before?
I grew up
Family-
watching it but I grew up watching it on CBS in the afternoons, like when they would show cartoons. And it was after the soap operas were there, and they would show an episode, and then they would show an episode right afterwards. And that's how we saw it, because I didn't see it when it originally aired. It aired before I was born, but definitely it was there, and we saw it, and we jumped around and acted stupid and wore capes and hurt ourselves jumping off of furniture and all that kind of good stuff. And much like the Three Stooges, we poking each other in the eyes and all that stuff, and replicating everything that we saw. And
it is important to say that we did have an Uncle Batman.
Yes. And then, the thing was that occasionally, I was trying to think when we would see the Batman movie. It was
ABC. It would be a ABC, because I remember anytime they showed it on Sunday morning, it was like after Domingo.
Right. It was a special
live.
showing of Batman movie, a special showing. I don't know if it was frequently like the way we saw the Kiss thing, but it was every blue moon.
Oh, I saw it a lot. No. By the time they were showing it more often, and I think, didn't they show it for a while on HBO?
Yeah, it would end up there, or it'd end up on Turner Classics in the morning or something like that, part of their morning matinee lineup sometimes. But yeah, HBO would show it occasionally, and then you'd watch the thing. I mean, to me, that movie, the way it was able to present the villains, the way it's able to present all those villains, and dude, these are marquee villains. They're not half-assed. They are full-blown.
Like the Scarecrow.
They're all awesome villains. You don't get like, oh, okay, here's this guy that you're not too familiar with, and we're gonna throw him in the mix. No origins. Let's just full blown. You already know that these are bad guys. And then I love that reveal when they have that one thing, an exploding shark. Oh my God. And then they start the penguin, and then they start breaking it down. 4 villains and and that they're all
working together.
Yeah, they're all together, and they're descended on. And it wasn't just a rinky-dink thing. Yeah, we're going to rob a bank. No, we're going to go to the UN, and we're going to, kidnap
dehydrate them.
Yeah, that was a trip too. So, yeah, in its typical fashion, I mean, it was a.
And you saw that they didn't get along because they thought they could do it better, and they were like, "Oh, it's exploding, the way the Joker." I mean, it was.
I saw Heath Ledger. I saw Heath Ledger do that same thing, dude. Yeah,
that's what it was like. You have Cesar Romero, who, he wasn't the psychopath, but you still don't want to, Yeah. But then again, there he was with Aunt Harriet.
Yeah. And then The
Burgess
Riddler.
Meredith as
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
well
Yeah.
yeah, Riddler was ruthless in the first episode. Hey Diddle Riddle. Now we're gonna get into the show here.
Yep.
He's about to electrocute these dudes on electric chairs, man. He's got Batman and Robin strapped to electric chairs, and he's ready to juice them up. These guys didn't hold back on the show, man. They had
Well,
saw blades, sharks, and
not only that, but he, the Riddler. That's one of the few times I saw the Riddler try to like psychological, like I'm gonna make you, we're gonna sue you. You know, we're gonna make you look bad. And I mean, because what else was the Riddler gonna do aside from using warheads just to spell out what he's doing?
right.
You know,
To me, Frank Gorshin's approach
Mm.
to the character, and then the way they wrote him. I was not an Aston fan when he had left the show, and they brought John Aston. He started acting like this, and here's Morticia, and
yeah.
he became Gomez. The
He was
Gomez,
like, hey, I'm the Riddler, right? Yeah.
yeah. It's unfortunately, when you're doing a show like that, it's hard to sustain them. And then, of course, I mean, numerous Catwomen. You couldn't keep one. I mean, you had a TV version, a movie version, and every season had a different version of Catwoman. So that was, and then of course, then but it had characters that I never thought in a million years anybody would see, and some that I think there was only like a handful or less that were actually made for the show. Usually, all of them were connected. I remember I have that Batman book somewhere, and that all of them pretty much related to actual comic book villains, except for maybe a handful. And I thought that was really cool that it kept into that.
And it really, the actors created those villains. Like, I mean, if anybody else was the Bookworm, I don't think you would have cared for him as much as I remember growing up and you would that was your episode that you loved. It was like a big gigantic book, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he? And they were like, is that the Riddler? No, the Riddler was in jail. They're like, well, then who is it?
Yeah.
And it's, the Bookworm,
yeah, he had that.
The actors that they got for some of I mean, who would have thought, Vincent Price is playing, Eggman?
Egghead.
Yeah.
And then you had Tut.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was just amazing how they did that. And then we just keep recycling characters in these movies. Now they have their own movies.
Yeah.
And we don't need a Batman. we're just doing villains now. We have a whole villain squad, and then we have, screw it.
And okay, so that's the thing is you have your rogue gallery. You have your,
Suicide Squad.
But even then, I mean, man, now you're just.
Yeah. Well, we're still waiting for our Legion of Doom.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I mean, it was refreshing to have Scarecrow.
Yeah, that was different. Well, that was that. He was trying to approach it in that way to lead up into a bigger villain, which is you start bringing in the Joker. And then to make him intellectual, the Bane, compared to what they were. He has no language. He's just a big. Yeah. He was whatever. So, it was interesting his approach. I have to give a nod for trying to do that kind of approach to it. But you know what? That was the most not feeling like Batman ever. Even though it was what it was, I didn't feel that was Batman. It was like, here is my interpretation, and here are the movies. And I don't know. They're their own. They're their own thing, what these movies, Dark Knight. That's what that is. It's Dark Knight. It's not Batman. That's Dark Knight. That's what that is. It's like when you look at Frank Miller and you're doing that kind of stuff. And this is not even Frank Miller. This is an interpretation. This is Nolan's Dark Knight interpretation of the whole thing, because it doesn't really like, oh yeah, that's typical Joker, what we would have seen over here. No, that's his version of the Joker. Now, like when you see the movie like Joker, that is a whole other interpretation of like, that's like what we would have seen in a 1970s comic book if we didn't have the comic code and we decided to just go all ape shit in that and mix in, let's put Taxi Driver, let's put in all these things in there. If Martin Scorsese was given the keys to do Travis Bickle as a crazy,
and it's funny because that's why they chose to tell Joker in that era, because honestly, you can't, some of the movies that we grew up with that are considered classics would be over in about 10 minutes if you had the technology. I left Kevin at home. Hold on.
Kevin?
Let me text him. Kevin! Hey, Mom, I'm up. Okay!
Yeah, the movie exists because of the technology kind of thing. With the way cell phones are and all that. International phone calling, I guess, and they must have hated their neighbors that they couldn't call any neighbors to go check on the house. Or you notice that what was that? Everybody.
No, and that's what they explained it, that a lot of the people in the neighborhood, because they were all rich, were going on
vacations.
That's why freaking Joe Pesci.
Yeah, we're gonna hit up all the
He's like, hey there, kid. Ding.
Yeah.
Can I speak to your father?
It must be awesome to be able to everybody go on vacation at the same time.
Well, it's like the question: what did he do that he could afford that house?
Oh, the dad worked for the mob. Anyway,
Maroney. See, This is the tie-in.
Yeah, there you go.
With, so going back, they made the Joker. They have this roster of bad guys that they can pick from, and they showed it on this TV show, and yet, you're right. You recycle, and then it's like, then they get afraid that they're not gonna be able to make another movie, so they throw 5 bad guys in there. Oh, we're gonna have Riddler and Two-Face
But they don't do it right, dude. They got to tell a whole origin story of, Poison Ivy, and then Mr. Freeze lost the chick, and blah blah blah, and then you spend an hour and a half doing the background story, and then it's bam bam bam, movie's over. That's it. It's over.
And then out of all this time, Alfred, you have a niece, a grandniece, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or what is all that?
I don't know. I didn't know. How did you have time to have this when you've been taking care of me, Alfred? What? And I never seen her ever in my life.
You've always been there for me. How? They didn't have FaceTime. He was skimming off of Bruce's money and sending it to her.
Yeah. That I don't know. I don't know. She knows gymnastics. How did that happen, Bruce? Alfred? Did I pay for that? Do I own this girl too?
Well, it's like, see, the brothers were part of a butler syndicate network that
you had to have seen Gotham to understand this part of the.
I know, but you have Alfred, who's like proper, and then I'm the city girl. It's like,
where did you come from? Yeah, Jeeves. They had Jeeves. They had Alfred.
Yeah, don't ask him too much about their family. There's this.
Well, man, Alfred, man, look, he had privilege to the suit. He didn't have to shave the mustache, dude. Nobody could figure that out. Wow, Bruce, you got old, or Batman, you got old, and.
I'm just gonna drive the Batmobile with I have the mask on though, so people are just gonna.
I think it's best we give them their privacy. Yeah, I know what you mean, Alfred. Oh, holy Houdini! They're gone. Oh my goodness.
And I'm pretty sure that was.
He had to climb up a wall too, didn't he?
No, I don't know about that, dude.
I think they had to put him up a wall. I didn't sign up for this, Master Bruce. What's
like? Did they? Okay, so is it Master Wayne, Master Bruce?
I don't know, Master Bates.
The U.S.
Hey, there you go. There's another one.
Oh yeah.
You can put him in there. Well,
he's not a butler. He's the toy.
Yeah, yeah. Out of all the Batman pass, your favorite? Do you have a favorite, or you like them all in a certain way, or what would be your favorite?
Yeah, see, I can't. I don't like when it comes to that. I don't like comparing them because, I mean, it's a different storytelling. It's different in the fact that it's just like in the X-Men. There's different ones. You can't compare. Just like with me with Chris Claremont, you can't compare Chris Claremont's writing to anybody else's writing.
Do we need another Wolverines? But well, no. I agree. The thing is, I guess it's just your tolerance level for the direction that what ends up happening is the creative force and the way that they end up presenting your characters. Because to some extent, there is some fun with the Schumacher, the Schumacher films. The thing is that it goes completely off the rails, and I think that's what ends up happening. It just gets more and more outrageous. And he plays up on that, but that's all fun and games, with the thing.
You can't tell me that they didn't know that in the '60s Batman that it was
camp.
Cheeky. It was
camp. Yeah. There's no way that anybody's making that now. Maybe somebody didn't tell Frank Gorshin that this was not.
Well, okay. See, no, okay.
Because he came off it like he's a gangster, but I'm just wearing his. Because I love when he wore that suit and the bowler hat.
But okay, so the question again is, you have Schumacher. That's what I'm getting at. It started becoming campy. So why did a lot of us get mad at that when that's what we grew up on?
Right.
So I guess the biggest question to ask people is you have to ask our kids, what's your favorite Batman? Because for us, these were times of our life. We didn't get a new Batman until 90. So almost 30 years. That's just like I told my kids about Star Wars. I'm like, I watched episode 1 15 times at the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said it took 20 years pretty much for me to get a new Star Wars. I'm like, in the span of their lifetime, there's already been 6
It's interesting that you say that, because I want to say that all of us, myself included, watched that at least a dozen or more times in the theater, and everybody that was a Star Wars fan watched it. But then all of a sudden, it's
the hate came out of nowhere.
It's the what is it called? That effect happens where everybody all of a sudden forgot that they saw it X amount of times. It's like, why the hell were you watching it X amount of times if you hate it so much? There's so much hatred that is drawn into that first that prequels, those 1, 2, and 3.
So like I said, you have, we watched Star Wars.
Well, let's not even talk about the new movies now and the hatred that is all over those movies too. It's just
so we look at Batman, and for the longest time, you couldn't think of Batman without in your mind hearing the music that they played when he was in the Batcopter.
Yep.
And so I don't know. That it's hard for me to look at it like that, to where we can pick who our favorite is, because the Adam West Batman was what we grew up on. And so, like I said, you remember people compared not the comic book, like, oh, is it going to look like the comic book? They wanted to know is he going to be like Adam West? Is this going to
Right.
be like the Batman that we grew up on? And that was everybody. That was the news. You know, Adam West, and I mean, again, you know, this was a new realm of actually, you know, dark and gritty.
When when
We didn't
when,
have
when was the last time to tail in on that as you're going along? When was the last time you saw '89 Batman?
uh, probably once in the last 3 years. Because
Does
every once in
it?
a while, I try to show the kids. Well, and see, that's the great thing
It's
about
a
Batman,
different. It's a different. It's a dark film.
right?
It's
Well,
dark,
dude,
and yeah,
everybody's dying. I was 10 years old when that came out,
yeah,
and I got jacked up by, you remember that, Joker's Jack Nicholson, because they made it real.
yep.
They made it, to me, it was like, holy crap, like that could happen. Somebody can mess with these things that everybody uses every day.
The products, yeah,
I mean, dude, and see, I don't think people realize that. Yeah, okay, Heath Ledger, ooh, these are my scars. Dude, he jacked up Jerry Hall's face.
yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
my
Take
this is my creation. You
have
know.
a smell of my posy, and it's acid, and yeah,
I mean, Bob Gunn. I mean, but they made it so. See, that to me, okay,
he was
Ledger
a psychopath. He was.
like that. That
It's
was
on
his,
level. It's on level with what Joker was being presented. You know, obviously they dove more into the mental illness or his the problem he had with society and how he was dealing with his uh, mental problem. This guy was straight out. You know, you knew why he was a gangster and probably why he was the trigger man, and that's what he
yeah.
was. That's what he was. He grew up that way, and that was it. And that's the way gangsters are. You have a dude that is a dedicated killer for his whole life, and that's what he does. And when they start, you know, it's like this guy was never going to be up there because why? They never put a psychopath in the top thing because the
And
whole thing could fall apart. That's why everybody was like, "Yeah, who put you in charge?" You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
and well, I mean, and Maroney. I mean, or what was Jack's Palance? What was his character's name?
uh, 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 geez, I want to say Grissom, but that was the cop.
Oh yeah. No,
No, it was
no,
Grissom.
it was Grissom.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, because Eckhart.
Yeah, Eckhart. Yeah.
Think
Think
about
about
the,
the
you know, like,
future.
and see, so that, and that's the thing. To me, if you like delve down, you know, they didn't have to explain Joker's reasoning. Like, you know, they try to say, well, with Heath Ledger's, they didn't really give his origin. Well, they didn't really give an origin as to why, you know, he was just a thug. He, in the movie, he's the one who killed the Waynes.
Right.
And it wasn't like he was some Joe Chill, like, oh, I don't know what to do. He was already like probably moving up in the ranks,
Yeah.
and he's just like, yeah, you know, he was just he was just probably just getting into the crime.
It was just a step on his journey, and it was insignificant. Didn't mean anything who they were, and it wasn't like, oh yeah, I killed Dwayne. No, it didn't matter who they were. You're just anybody. The only person it really mattered to was Bruce Wayne. That's where it scarred him. That's what, you know, where his marks were. I mean, it was there. He, you know, all the gunfire's going on, and he's reliving. We've never seen that play out in any other Batman character where they show that
I mean,
PSD.
he is so
Right.
PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD. Yeah.
No, but yeah, because that, and see, we need to like revisit, because I mean, honestly, Michael Keaton played his character well. Now, to me, I mean, I don't know if, looking at it, I guess he did probably play Bruce Wayne. You know, he didn't have to come out a lot because they explained Bruce Wayne by everybody else talking about him. But he was so fixated when Joker was there. He was like, yeah, he gets shot in the arm, and he's just like,
he becomes that little kid again.
but he
Not
has
knowing.
that vengeance. But he has that. Well, it's almost like he's about to throw a tantrum. Like you. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. But and so yeah, there was a lot of. To me, Jack Nicholson. That character was written, just the way everything was. For the fact that he was already going crazy with the when he told Bob, you, I'm a number. And to me, I was like, man, that's a kiss of death right there. That's saying you're expendable, guy,
Yep.
because that's exactly what And so there he was. He had Bob at his side, but everybody was expendable. That
was the thing. It sent him over the thing when he fell into that vat. When he became expendable, when everybody was turning, when they spun everything on him, he truly lost it. He got in there, and then he wakes up, and then that was it. He just because he was very vain. He was a very vain guy, and when that happened, it was like, that's it. And he just went.
And I like how they played the little, oh, don't forget your lucky deck. And it's
Yeah.
But I mean, there he was, arrogant, sleeping with the boss's girl.
It very much in the vein of what we've seen in gangster films. The just when you thought you were top dog, the boss wants you out.
Well, yeah, because and again, this wasn't even the boss's being upset. Oh, he's trying to take over my business. He's messing with my girl.
Yep, we've been ratted out, boys. I love it. Dude, I'm all getting chills again. Just
we need to watch. I know we need. We
Jack's
need to watch
performance. It was one of the greatest performances of a villain. We always said that it was. I think he was up for a Golden Globe, and we always thought that he should have got an Oscar nod for that performance. But it was ahead of its time. I mean, they're not nominating superheroes and all that kind of stuff. And we've come a long way, that's for sure, because the way superhero movies are embraced more so as part of the money making machine that what it is. You can literally just every month there's a comic book movie, animation movie, or something like that based on even television shows. They all trace back to something in that, and it all comes back to the 1989 Batman in a way, because if that didn't succeed and that came off clunky and whatever, you wouldn't have movies like The Crow. You wouldn't have movies like Blade. You wouldn't have.
Now we're talking about big popular comics, because I'm pretty sure we can see, there's a lot of movies now that are made that people are like, you can tell them, oh, that was actually based off a graphic novel or this and that, and they're like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. Yeah, was it Road to Perdition?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. Road to Perdition. There's also History of Violence. That actually won Oscars, and History of Violence was based on a graphic novel as well. And they're serious, and everybody thinks, well, wait a minute, there were no superheroes or comic book guys or whatever, and it's like, well, that's the thing. The source materials that are pushing the envelope, because that's the pulp. That's what everybody's reading these days. They're reading these things. That's why you have Stephen King. Everything that comes out, everything that he comes out, anything that's come out in the past is being circulated into television shows or revisited in some fashion. And unfortunately, Dean Koontz, nobody can make anything from all of his shit. So
don't even. How long have we wanted a Lightning movie?
Yeah, something, and oh well.
Well, no, you know what? There was but you know what? There are movies made, and then they're made for TV movies.
Servants of Twilight, Whispers. The building one.
Then,
he had the building.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But even then, the Servants of Twilight was still.
Yeah, I like that one, even though it was
at the end. He's all like, old boy just jacks him up. But Lightning. Why can't they make? They can make the Lake House.
Yeah.
Why can't they make Lightning? I mean, they made the butterfly effect, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but
why can't?
We could dream.
Okay, so Lightning's gonna be Ashton Kutcher, Keanu Reeves, and Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I remember reading it thinking that, but I couldn't help but getting Arnold Schwarzenegger out of my head because he was already doing Terminator and coming in, and I think the way he kind of wrote it was, kind of leading up that it would have been an Arnold, but maybe that was just too much. It's too similar to, the Terminator, time traveling and all that. But I don't know. Whatever it was it's a good book. Just for everybody's sake, it's Lightning from Dean Koontz. You probably available on everything now. You can get it in your Kindle. You can probably get the audio version of it. You can, or I don't understand why. I know that somebody had to have made some graphic novels of his crap. I don't know. Dean Koontz, if you're out there, what is coming from you? We need
because
to see.
Because that is exactly what he'd be doing right now, is watching our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well. But, so I guess we kind of gravitated to a movie without, it's the 89 Batman. It holds so much. And don't get me wrong, I like what he attempted to do with Penguin, and I loved where they were going with it, and I really wish they had gone one more step. But
again, he was psychotic.
Right. I think that's the problem. They wanted something more fun and able to sell toys behind you, and that's what it was. They wanted a way. Is that who I think it is?
Yeah, that's Uncle Robert.
Oh,
because as we're talking, I'm finishing up my Z and G comic.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So
that's good.
She's looking and going, can I look at this? I'll show you when I'm done, baby.
It's like some people are doing laundry and they can't do this. Oh! I want to go back to something that happened, and I think everybody was just totally shocked at what ended up happening is the announcement of Chadwick Boseman that he passed away. He was 43 years old, and what he did in that amount of time, and
he played some pretty iconic people throughout his career.
I was really, really shocked to find out, and then when you trace back those 4 years that he actually was doing work sick, and I imagine when he got diagnosed, the words were, "Okay, you can get treatment. You're not making any of these movies." And I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating. Yeah. But I'm just saying, obviously I don't know how far along his cancer was at the time, but 4 years ago. And then when you look back at all those movies that got made in that amount of time, we're talking about, was it Black Panther, Infinity War, Civil War? These are just the Marvel films. There were other films that got made, that the Five Bloods, and stuff like that got made. Prior to that, Jackie Robinson, the James Brown. To me, that's that one right there. The James Brown movie was just, it blew my mind, and I thought this dude's performance was just an amazing performance. I know I had, I'm not gonna, back down of what I said. I know I said some things about the, the Black Panther films and stuff like that. My issue with that was they were taking away from the films that had done prior. And they were acting like there was no other films that had featured, black superheroes and stuff like this and all that. The film itself is a monumental tribute of all sorts, to be able to be made that way, produced that way, and all that kind of stuff. That cannot be taken away of what it had done in the Marvel MCU. But when you do that and you kind of don't talk about the other films, these other guys were trying to do something just as thing. And I don't want to go too much into that, but, you had Blade, you had all what they were trying to do with that. You had me.
Wesley Snipes was trying to make Black Panther for how long? I mean, since he got on the scene and he got some clout, he had been wanting to make Black Panther. Mm-hmm. That I remember that for the long, and then they're like, well, but he was able to make Blade.
And then you have
Which was
Robert
another Marvel.
Townsend talking about the black Superman type character, and you have Meteor Man, and then of course you have some funny movies that features superheroes and stuff like that by the Waynes and stuff, Blank Man and stuff like that. But aside from that, uh, they bring along a character that becomes part of the MCU, and then it causes a movement, and then it trickles out into society, and then a lot of us. It's even happening today. Everything that's happening in the streets and stuff like that. And I don't want this to get too political, but the power is there. The power of the character in the cinema and all that kind of stuff is it filters into that. And then you have the young people that, just like us, when we talk about Adam West and we talk about Batman, and it's almost that we to this day still don't have a Hispanic superhero. And like I said, I'm not trying to break away from our tribute to the Black Panther and what they established here, but when I was thinking about that, I went back and watched all these videos of people thanking. They looked at a poster. I think it was Jimmy Fallon, and then they had him hiding in the back, and then they would bring the actor out and stuff. And it's very powerful to see, because it meant so much to these people. We still haven't had a character like that for us. We're still waiting for that. Asian actors. We've seen various characters come and go. I know that. But for Asian Americans, I don't think we've seen that. They still play second fiddle. The whole Kato, it's the Kato movie. It's not known as Green Hornet and Kato or whatever. It's played as the Kato show. And, that has been the struggle that has faced, all of our different people.
So I think how they combat that, and again, I have no problem with it. I do and I don't. I think they can make a Kato movie by itself. I think they can make a Tonto movie by itself. But you take away, for some reason they can't. They can't seem. I mean, if I recall, in the Green Hornet show, they didn't really take away from Kato. He was the character he was, but
right.
In movies now, they can't make them. They never make them equal, heroic wise. It's like. I know Seth Rogen made, I mean, even with the Lone Ranger. I mean, I love the Lone Ranger. Growing up, watching the old West, the serial, and I didn't mind, the recent Lone Ranger movie because of the. There had to be certain parts of the Lone Ranger's origin,
right,
for me that needed to be in there, and they had it in there. But again. They were both kind of bumbling. They could have still done it seriously. I mean, when you look at it and think that Wild Wild West was a little bit more, heroic than these guys, there's a problem. But
right,
we don't have that. Has there ever been an attempt for
is there Hispanic superheroes? I mean, you're gonna have to dig deep, or you're gonna have to find, what I'm saying,
a non-stereotypical.
Yeah, I mean, well, there we go. We're going to go back to the indigenous book of just for sake of argument. Some of that may have been cut out of the last podcast, just because I think I left some of it in there, but I think some of it I did cut out just because. We didn't fully know a little bit of everything that I wanted to do. Right. We don't know too much about the book, so I just wanted to be fair to the book.
Yep.
And when the book comes out, we will properly look at that book, because that to me is an important book. And the thing is that just like our for us, I know the judge. We brought up the judge. The judge in his time wanted to bring an Hispanic superhero, and we've seen these characters before, but they're not in no realm mainstream superheroes. I think you got him confused with another character, El Gato or something like that. Yeah. But the thing is, we don't have Miles Morales. We have Miles Morales, Miguel O'Hara, whatever. These are,
but they're not. They're mixed.
They're mixed characters. And
again, nothing wrong with.
Right? No. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with these kind of things. Nacho Libre down there. Well, then again, we don't want to go there because that could have been an adopted Will Ferrell type kid in elf Mexicano elf.
I mean, that's the thing. Somebody put
But
Nacho Libre, played
right,
by Jack Black.
right. But a
You
true
have
Latino character that is not a villain, that is not, you know what I mean? It's
Mariachi. Is Mariachi
right.
our
Pulls
only
out
hero?
guns and shoots the hell out of everybody, and that's what I'm saying is like, do we have somebody else that's like unlike that? They either have to be we heard about this man who carries a guitar case full of weapons. Well, it's not me,
Yeah.
check the guitar case. You don't want to do that. Let's play.
Ah,
That's about as close as our superheroes, bro. That's about what, Machete.
again,
Robert. That's what I'm saying. Robert. There's that. It's Grindhouse. It's stereotypical superheroes. Don't get me wrong. I love these ideas and characters and stuff like that. But is that what's going to
positive.
inspire?
Well,
Right.
uh, and again, that's what I did like about Black Panther. Was the movie like beyond anything I've ever seen? No.
Yeah.
And again, just like you said, I'm gonna stand by what I feel about the movie. But and that's
Sometimes
why,
we
like you said,
gravitate. Sometimes we gravitate, and our people, embrace the Black Panthers, and then because for the longest time we all looked up to a Superman, regardless of who we were. We all looked up to a Batman, and regardless of who we were. But to have somebody that is of your own background and have a hero of that nature that you look up to and go, he's Latino. We have to watch, like, our heroes are like, we have to watch the Cantinflas movie. And that's who we like. Yes, Cantinflas, even though he cheated on his wife and everything, he's still our hero. Or Stand and Deliver. I'm the Finger Man,
yeah,
and then he's gonna fight the Joker. Ever James Olmos. Uh,
yeah.
but see, that's the thing. They're most of the time our people are played up into these characters. They're either having weapons of guns or whatever, and is that the only way that our people are portrayed in hero uh hero
Well,
movies?
I mean, in Ant-Man, like Richard put in Ant-Man, but he was still uh,
Comic relief guy, and for the most part he was smarter than he was more resourceful, but he has that criminal background.
yep. That's the only way he can be resourceful.
Yeah.
We need somebody to jimmy this lock. Hector? Okay. I
Oh,
guess.
yeah. It
Yeah.
gets little cricket action there. Now, unless do we count Coco? Do we is that
He's
what we're
not a
left?
superhero.
I know.
Well, again, but that. Hmm.
Yeah, we just don't. We don't.
Okay,
Batman.
but again, okay. So I'm going to say that with Coco, it it's not so much people as it is a movie about um, culture,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
we don't live
he
the.
put Chapulín Colorado.
Okay.
Relampero.
Yeah.
Relampero was, but I don't know who owns the rights to that. And the judge created that character. That we talked about that. We want to do another show for another time, and I think you know what, we leave the fact that we leave our condolences. We give our condolences to the family and friends of Chadwick, the Black Panther. Um, his legacy is forever imprinted on cinema and what he was able to do for people and being very generous. And we've heard him
Hmm.
talk. We've it's very sad to see that. I don't think I had actually started. There are people's lives that are tragically cut short, and they get this little bit of time to show on the screen and stuff like that. It for different circumstances they leave us and stuff. And this one was tragic in the sense that he had cancer. So you have to think in terms that over the last 4 years he had to have been in pain or something of that nature,
Well, not only that, but
suffering through this.
to have this and still going out for the fans because he knew how much this meant.
Yep.
I mean, they showed it. I saw pictures of him with other kids with cancer.
Yep.
I mean, the fans were dear to his heart, and yeah, it was sad.
Yeah. If you have not seen these films, go watch Civil War, watch the Infinity War, and watch the Black Panther, and that way you can see. This is because it's a comic podcast, but man, if you got a chance, watch him. His portrayal as James Brown. It's an explosive performance. And of course, there's a whole list of movies. Go on IMDb and check out some of the movies that are out there. He left us with some powerful performances. A segment that we have that we usually do. It's looking at ahead at some of the comics that are coming up next week that we like to kind of keep everybody informed of. And I'm gonna here it is for DC. The only DC thing that I found that was pretty awesome. It's actually a trade paperback of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe collection. It's a trade paperback collecting there were several issues that were released last year, and the artwork is pretty damn amazing. If you are a He-Man Masters of the Universe, this will be out this Wednesday at your comic book store. If you were getting the issues, the first issue was He-Man, and then the variant cover was Skeletor, and of course I had to get the Skeletor one. But the artwork is truly amazing. Look at his hand. Look at the way he's holding it right there. It looks kind of weird, doesn't it? His hand, there's like one hand's like all bent.
Well, I think Liefeld was brought in for that part.
Yeah, we're bringing in a special arm for that. Yeah, but it's probably a mix of broken glass, and so anyway, it's like that was the most
effect.
Yeah, the most expensive shot in the entire comic is right there. So that's my DC pick for this coming up week. Now check this out. This is a series premiere, third generation comic artist Emma Kubrick, and yes sir,
Kubert.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And we got a little sneak preview of some of the Inkblot, and this is from Image. There's got to be a way to get it bigger. Well, I'll just leave it like that. That way people are getting a little shot. What we're seeing actually is some of the inside of Inkblot. They're inside, looks like it's like a tree, but it's a library. And the artwork is, I don't know, it's just amazing. It reminds me of like Valiant, some of the Valiant artwork and stuff like that. And it's a little couple page preview. If you guys got a chance, you can watch the stream and you can see some of this. But I'm just kind of going through a couple of pages of the inside of Inkblot. Inkblot is the first issue. It's a third generation artist. We were actually admiring the family members that are they're contributing to the new Wolverine Black, White, and Blood series that's actually coming out in about 2 months from now. But this actually is going to hit the stores. It's from Image. This is a good way to get up-and-coming artists or artists that are trying to tell stories outside the normal avenues of storytelling. In this series, they deliver an epic fantasy. This is an ongoing series. It follows a powerful sorceress attempting to correct her greatest mistake, the creation of a magical cat that can travel through time, space, and reality. The cat threatens to unravel the fabric of the universe, doesn't care, and just won't listen. So there you go. That darn cat.
Yep.
So that's called Inkblot. So that's I got a feeling that might be the name of the cat. I don't know, but that one is definitely one of my picks. Either either way, it sounds like a really kooky kind of story, and I think it'd be fun, a fun pickup. Still, now this is a pick that I saw from Dark Horse. I'm all about the Bermuda Triangle, dude. When I saw that this was a Bermuda Triangle mystery, Spy Island, I love that it's played up in the classic novel. You know what I mean? The book,
Yeah.
like you get the old 1970s pulp novel that's out there and the thing. Super Spy Nora Freud, no relation, has a plum assignment. She's stationed on a tropical island. Her mission, keep an eye on things. Her problem, the island is on the lip of the Bermuda Triangle where anything can happen. Her problem, this particular island is a den of intrigue, populated by spies, tourists, and evil villains set on global domination. It's a four series, limited series by the creative team that brought you Maneaters. I actually have Maneater comics. They're very it's what I like. Okay, Maneaters was in Image, and so they have I don't know. Look it up. You guys go look it up. I don't want to spend too much time on that. But Chelsea Kane is now doing this with Dark Horse, and like I said, anything with the Bermuda Triangle, I was a fan of following anything Bermuda Triangle.
Yep.
I was just fascinated with anything Bermuda Triangle growing up. So there it is, Spy Island from Dark Horse. You can find that in stores this Wednesday. Okay, I've already posted this on my thing, so I won't on my thing. It's another trade paperback from IDW. It's called Be Gay, Do Comics. In the dream of a queer separatist town, the life of a gay Jewish Nazi fighter. Dude, how can you not like that combination right there? A gender reveal party that tears apart reality. These are just some of the comics that you'll find in this massive comic anthology from the Nib. Be Gay Do Comics is filled with dozens of comics about LGBTQIA experiences. They added some more letters in there. Experiences ranging from personal stories to queer history, cutting satire about pronoun panic and brands desperate to co-opt pride. This is 30 cartoonists come together and they bring this creation. We would have never seen something like this, and if it was available, it would have just been probably on a bookshelf somewhere, and it wouldn't have been part of the comic universe or comic book stores or whatever the case may be. This is a pick that I have from IDW. I think that this is a very important book, and I think that it is in trade paperback form, so it's not like a regular comic book. It is going to have a higher price, but you know what? I really think that it's one of those kind of books that I think it's well worth to pick up. I'm trying to get to my next page. How do I do that? Oh no. The tabs are on their own right there. I know that there's a way to do it, but I'm not being able to do it. Okay, here we go. And now we look at Marvel. Marvel's Miles Morales Spider-Man number 18. And I'm going to go with the Baby Morales cover. I think, how can you not like this cover? You got Miles and his sister doing adventures and shit. I mean, come on. It's awesome. I love the perspective in the background, and we know the kids when you got to babysit and stuff like that. So this is definitely I don't know if it's like an adventures in babysitting or whatever, but whatever the case may be, this is one of those ones I and don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of Marvel books coming out. I think there's reprints of Venom and Thor. Those are already automatic. I can already guarantee you those are going to sell out, and those are going to be sought after. But if you move aside from those and you kind of move away all the other comic books, this one is one that you don't want to miss picking up. Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Who knows what's going to happen with the little baby character? Whenever you start hinting around at that, they end up with magical powers. Even though maybe he's going to give a blood transfusion. Anyway, never mind.
That's her cousins.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean, Franklin Richards has always been hinted at, and finally he became his own, like Omega alpha, mutant.
Um,
He's technically considered a mutant, I believe, because you have to be born with
right,
it,
right. You
and
have to be born with
don't
it.
have the same you don't have the same powers as your parents. That's why Polaris technically wouldn't have been a mutant. She's not Magneto's daughter, but that wouldn't have been.
We usually kind of stick with comic books or trade paperbacks and stuff like that. But I ran across this, and I've been kind of keeping track of it. I didn't know when it was going to come out. Well, obviously, it comes out this week. It's the Overstreet comic book price guide that is just does not have any relevance in the comic book world anymore. None of these prices matter. No one goes by this book anymore. But the fact that they've made it to 50th issue, and of all things, McFarlane does the cover with Spawn and Spider-Man on the cover. So it is available in hardback cover. This is probably one of the only times you may see these two. Never know. Maybe they'll cross over somewhere in the distant future. But
I
for
think
now,
I think that the Gunslinger Spider-Man. I mean, I'm sorry. Did I say Gunslinger Spider-Man?
yeah,
No, the Gunslinger Spawn fought Venom or
it's starting to
Knull.
it's starting to get into that realm. I remember when he created this piece of artwork, it was in black and white form, and the fact that he was, he goes, "Hey, I haven't drawn this guy in a long time." I was like, what the hell? And then they had Spawn. It was just a black and white picture. Nobody knew exactly where this was going to be, but then it popped up that it was going to be the special 50th anniversary Overstreet comic book price guide. There are different covers that are released for this, but this is the hardcover edition, and then there's a softcover version of this, and then there's some other ones that have different characters. But this is the one that if any of the books had collector, value or something of that nature, this one seems to be in that collectible category for sure. So that is what I was. That's what I was seeing. Those are my picks for this coming up week.
Yeah, I had some a comic or two that I wanted to show, but I decided, since there was a pivot with everything, if I could just kind of tell you about what I'm actually doing.
No, that's perfect. That's what it's all about. And for anybody out there that is a comic book artist or something like that, and they're doing something, they want to be a guest, let us know, because we're always looking for promoting independent comics, web series. If you're working, doing covers or commissions or whatever it is, hit us up. We'd love to have you on as a guest, and you can tell us about what you do. My brother's actually kind of getting back into the swing of things. He had a web series, web comic for a couple years. He is getting back into the swing of things. He was doing some scripts, and then we were surprised when he put one of his first strips together, and now he was doing some variant art in the tradition of what we've been talking about here. But yeah, go ahead and update us or give us a lowdown on what you got going on.
Well, for the longest time, of course, I've always wanted to do comics, but it was around 2009. Just moved to Florida, and I've been looking up some things on YouTube on, I'd read some, web comics. And I was like, man, a lot of these people are doing this. It's not even, like I have all this free content I can read, and these people are doing it, and they, people read it. And so I started looking at YouTube videos on how to do it. And then I started making it back in 2009. I originally, it's Metal Jaw Comics, but originally it was going to be just different stories. It was just going to be like, I had like 3 or 4 ideas that were just like throughout the months, the weeks, you were going to have like, it was almost going to be like those spectaculars, those comics we were talking about. So like in a month, you would have like 3 different stories of 3 different characters, just 3 different storylines going. But as I was doing it, it was only me. It was only me doing the content, and I just started. So I ended up focusing on Z and G, which the characters are a voodoo zombie and a ghost. Their names are Zechariah and Geist. I actually have a page on Facebook. I used to have a website, but since I hadn't done it in a long time, I moved a whole bunch of the comics over there. And yeah, the other day, I was showing my daughters and son, and they've just really been getting into drawing, and they've been wanting to use Photoshop and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to show you guys what I used to do. And I was just going to not do anything, specific. I was just going to just draw like, shape, sketch out something. And then as I was doing it, it started popping up. I'm seeing the logo on my template, and I'm just like, I just started sketching out a comic. And I was like, okay, so throughout the weekend, I'll finish this up. And then next thing you know, I was done that night. I kept coming back to it when I had time, and I was putting the colors down, doing, trying to remember my process. Like I said, I started this 2009. The last time I really did a comic was, 2013 maybe, an actual strip. But yeah, all of a sudden it just kind of hit back in, and I was like, man, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna post this. I haven't done. I'm surprised. I surprised myself doing this, and I didn't tell anybody else. That because again, it was that day. It was not expected. No, I posted it out, and I had my notebook, and I started writing jokes, and of course, like always, originally it started off as I wanted to do like a gag strip joke, then slowly, organically, stories started happening. And so then that's again what happened. The strip I'm working on right now is a gag. It's, ha funny. And then as I'm writing my next gag, I'm like, wait a second. And then all of a sudden I'm creating a character, and I told my girls, hey, why don't you guys try to design this bad guy, this villain?
Right.
And I was like, I didn't know if they were going to do it. Next, later that day, two of my daughters just give me just like these pages full of the same, just doing character sheets for it. And I was like, okay, now I need to figure out how to use both of them.
Right.
But yeah, no, it feels pretty good. Try to go with this as much as I can. Like I said, I used to, like I said before, and for fun, I was doing that variant cover, joke. But I use Savage Dragon, which Eric Larson is one of my favorites. Savage Dragon, that was one of my comics that I collected when Image first came out. So I was there from day one. And he's up at, in the 250s now, and he's done. And see, that's the thing. We talk about this. He has written and drawn every single one of those comics. He's been able to keep up with it. He doesn't have to, have other people do his work, and I'll just do a cover every once in a while. Hey, 300. But no, it's just it's out there. Just look up Metal Jaw Comics on Facebook. But the comic is called Z&G. Again, it originally started meant for Zombie and Ghost. Then it ends up being their name.
It came to America, and they put names to it.
Yeah. But no, and it's long story short, the Zombie and Ghost are actually the same person. And like I said, he's a voodoo zombie, not a brain-eating one. To me, because at that time, 2009, Walking Dead was about to come out, I believe, and I was like, I remember the old, like the zombie, the witch doctor, things. So, and that kind of plays into it. Everybody's searching for this magical doll because usually, for the fact that he is both a zombie and a ghost, it created like some weird effect power, and so the doll that was created for him is actually like one of the most powerful things on the earth. In this dimension. So are
the archived comics still available out there for people, or are they not?
On Facebook? On Facebook. Okay. I need to look because I'm pretty sure there's a few that are I need to curate that and repurpose it. But right. Yeah, for the most part, you can see the big difference from me starting off with pen and paper, scanning it in and trying to color it, then finally doing all digital, which, thanks to Mariella, at the time she gave me that Graphire, and I still use it. That's exactly what I'm using right now. And I've moved to digital, but I still do, like you saw the as you see right there, I still do pencil and ink, and but no, that's like I said. So instead of my Dell, that is my archive drive, my own comic.
No,
And
no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
and
I was gonna just say just on that. We don't have to get into life happens, and then you move away from the series, but then life happens and you get back into the series, but now you have other elements involved, and that's your kids are in a roundabout way. It started off as a learning component, and then next thing you know, you're kind of get the itch, and you're back into the swing. I think that's an awesome thing there, that they can actually see how it all ends up playing out. They're seeing the process at the same time. The ideas start flowing again. I think that's awesome.
And it is funny though, hearing the kids sometimes, and they're like, I remember seeing you do a strip, because I would, trying to balance everything, I would try to do it when they went to sleep.
Right.
And again, this was years ago. Some of my kids weren't even born at the time, but it was kind of a trip to hear them like, wait a second, I remember that, and
yeah. No, I think that is awesome to hear. And actually, I think that is a fitting look back at comics and stuff like that. It actually incorporates something, and it updates everybody that knows you from that, and it reintroduces everybody to that part of you. If they haven't seen Metal Jaw Comics on Facebook and Z&G, that's a great opportunity for you guys to join in and catch up on all the what's coming soon and all that kind of good stuff. Anything formally going to be coming out at a certain date, or is it just kind of you're just getting into the swing of it?
Getting back, I'm planning on, if not tonight, tomorrow, to have this comic out, my new one. Like I said, I have next couple ones scripted, so once I get time, I'll be. I'm probably gonna sketch out a couple and then tighten them up throughout the week, so I can. That's always been the problem. Once I get a buffer going, then all of a sudden stuff keeps happening, and next thing you know, it's like I had my self-imposed deadline of posting every Tuesday and Thursday, and here we are on Wednesday night at 1 a.m.
Right.
Something going, let me do something. And
yeah, that's the way it is. When on a show like this, anything can happen. You need to be able to pivot at any given moment. It's so weird because now that theaters are starting to open up, and there's all these films that are coming out now. Tenet, New Mutants, Bill and Ted's, and then of course there's classic movies that are still being screened right now, because we're still at 50% in our movie theaters that just opened this past week. So I'm kind of wondering what that amount will be. I wonder what Bill and Ted's will make when it's all said and done. I don't want to bring it up, but I know that there's it was like right before I was finalizing, I guess, the show rundown. New Mutants was getting just slammed left and right, that it was the worst X movie, and I'm almost wondering if we need to do a visit of the X, but there's too many. There's too many X movies, and some are horribly bad, and if it's being called the worst.
Well, okay, so not only and I'll say this because I know we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
Is even the one of the co-creators of it talked about how bad it was, but then he's like, and then for the co-creator, they misspelled his last name. he said they had 3 years to spell check this, to ask, and they didn't. He goes, and now it's done. It's never going to be changed, and whatever. He's like,
Wow, that does not make any sense in the world. Wow, that's just they don't give a crap about this movie. I remember they
nope.
hinted about that this movie was just going to go straight to whatever, and they weren't even thinking about putting it in the theaters. And honestly, I was wondering why they even made this movie. I I mean, we already got X Force. You know what I'm saying? Or it was hinted to in the thing. What is so? What New Mutants is gonna go through the whole thing, and then we're gonna bring in eventually, Cable or what? What I don't understand. You know what I mean? When they
Yeah,
do something like that, yes, let's make X Factor the movie. Alpha Flight. Yeah, that's what we need. A good old Canadian.
and Excalibur.
Oh yeah, let's just do it. Craziness and all that kind of good stuff. But until next time, I'm Robert Pettis.
And I'm Roland Pettis of Metal Jaw Comics.
Did you see what he said there? That could be the
Yeah.
theme. No, that's just he's using code names. Anyway, we still don't have a slogan. We should make a contest of some kind, and we still haven't shopped a comic book. So, this was the end of the month. So September, let's just make it. Maybe we will see if something gets ripped. I don't know, but
I still have X Force 1.
X Force. Maybe you know what? It would be a fitting tribute because of this movie being, if it is as bad as they say it is. I don't know. Somehow we need to get our hands on this film, and we will judge to see if this film is truly as bad that we need to. It's like us going into the future and destroying the future to avoid what we're seeing in the past, so they don't make it anymore. But until then, we will find out if it is ripped worthy. That still does not sounding like a good slogan. But until then, we will find a slogan. Yeah, that doesn't work either. But that's it. Signing off. Till next time.